Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for joining us here for WCNC Charlotte To Go, where much of the Carolina is still picking up the pieces after yesterday's severe storms, possible tornadoes in some parts. Lots of rain just about everywhere. We saw flooding.
And
windy, power outages.
You guys lost power. I had to take an entirely different route. Two different ways I come in were blocked off because of flooding.
It took me over an hour to get home because I go to Matthews, and every direction into Matthews was shut. The whole city, the whole town of Matthews shut down. Every location had no power in Matthews. All the shopping centers nearby, the downtown area, all the way to the Mint Hill area. It was completely out of power.
Wow. Well, let us know how you are. What's it looking like today? Crews from the National Weather Service are going to be up in Catawba County to confirm if a tornado touched down in Claremont. Just a look at the damage left behind. Homes ripped apart, trees completely uprooted, and families bunkering down to try and stay safe. So this video capturing the moments the storm tore through Claremont. This morning, that's where we find WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane. He's been out there all morning long. Richard, the storm killing one person, leaving others in critical condition there.
Absolutely correct. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. A lot of folks will be assessing the damage as we get more light. We talked about those winds. These aren't that strong, but you can only imagine it's about to blow my hat off. But they were much more powerful yesterday. A couple of local officials actually telling us that they thought that it was a tornado that touched down just by their experience. But of course, that's what the National Weather Service will determine today. We can tell you, unfortunately, there was death. A person valiantly jumped over two people to cover them, including a child, to protect them as the storm came through their area. And actually, they were on a mobile home. He covered them, and he did not survive, but those people did, so he gave his life in protection of others. A local church has also set up a shelter where about 6 people have taken advantage of that shelter that is in conjunction with the Red Cross out here. There are about 30 families displaced, we've been told. Of course, a lot of folks will find out just how much damage they have as they get more light. We can tell you just from what we've seen just getting up here that there's significant damage. Of course, we're going to be looking at that throughout the morning, throughout the day, because we know that even when our cameras leave here, there's a lot of folks who still have a lot of cleaning up to do. And of course, unfortunately, there's a family that has a funeral that they have to plan.
They were outside when they seen it coming, and they jumped under the trailer, and he threw himself on top of her, and it literally picked the trailer up, and when it come back down, he didn't make it. It completely moved his trailer. It slung it from the back end of the property all the way to the road. It's hanging on the power lines. There's just the corner of the trailer is standing. We didn't think she made it either, but they told us that she did. And now we're just trying to hear news about the baby. But he did save her life. He possibly saved that baby's life as well.
Yeah, we heard at last check there were 2 people with critically injured at the hospital taken from that incident. So we'll continue to check on them and bring you the latest on them. You can just hear the pain in her voice and know that there's so much devastation out there, but our prayers and thoughts are going out to those folks. And the community is rallying behind here in Claremont everyone who's been affected. As I said, in addition to that one church that is having the shelter, another church is going to have a spaghetti dinner for everybody involved. They're welcoming folks. That's at the Bethlehem United Methodist Church. They want anyone who wants to come out and partake and just kind of love on each other and hug on each other to be available to do that today. We're right here in Catawba County, guys. I'll send it back to you.
Richard, real quickly, any idea about how widespread this was there, or was this like a single isolated possible touchdown that just affected a couple of homes?
Yeah, well, from what we've heard so far, because we haven't been out there, I haven't seen it myself. Other reporters have said that they've seen certain areas that have been hit harder than others. Some of the local officials who I spoke with said that they've seen it hit, for instance, one house on one side, nothing right next to that house. So we don't know how widespread it is. We'll get a better assessment, and I'll bring you that information, firsthand information, a little bit later on today.
All right. Richard Devane, up in Claremont for us. Richard, thank you. Meanwhile, we've also got some video in from overnight into the newsroom showing a dramatic rescue in Concord. Take a look at the video we're going to show you here in just a second of crews actually rescuing someone stuck inside their car. This was late last night. Here it is. This is from the Concord Fire Department. The flooding threat is still looming well into the night there. Kia, you've got more on this rescue and some of the other videos that we got into the newsroom overnight.
Right. So, I mean, that video is just one of the scenes yesterday as water levels quickly rose up. So one person was caught in that storm. They were stuck in a submerged vehicle. Again, Concord Fire Department assisting Harrisburg Fire. They deployed these rafts and then eventually were able to pull that person from the car. Now, the victim was treated by emergency services. Thankfully, though, this one is expected to be okay. So on other damage, though, the storms, I mean, it forced trees down, it forced power lines down. Check this out as well. We caught this video of a sinkhole over in Uptown. It swallowed part of the sidewalk. Now, this was at Church and 6th. The 6-foot-wide sinkhole even took someone's trash can. And again, this damage has been widespread. We were trying to get a grab on everywhere that's been hit. So viewers are continuing to send us videos of storm damage. We got some more video, this time from Ballantyne, and it shows us just how flooded some of those roads were. And again, thank you guys all for sending in your pictures, your videos, so that we can get a better tell of what this damage looks like. So with floodwater still remaining in a good part of our area this morning, we've been asking during the broadcast as well for folks to show us what their commute looks like. Just send in those videos, those photos. We've got this Near Me feature on the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. So lots of coverage. I mean, this has been just about everywhere, seeing all types of damage and, in best cases, rescues.
And I want to go back to the Claremont situation. The really sad thing about that, it wasn't warned at all. And it was, we were watching the signature once we started seeing damage reports, and you visibly could see that on the radar where you're picking up the winds, it was straight, and then all of a sudden it just bent in. This would be the biggest surprise of my career if this was not a tornado, because when we are measuring the different winds, it's one going towards the radar, one going away. I was measuring winds on that at least at about 100 miles per hour.
Wow. Oh,
So yeah, that may have been an EF2.
Yeah.
If you look at that damage right there.
So I think, minimum EF1, that EF2 would likely be winds over 110 miles per hour. And this also just shows during these events when you have a chance for tornadoes or damaging winds, how quickly that's going to happen. That oftentimes when we get a tornado warning, that Brad and I were live on air, some of the worst of the damage actually happened before the actual warning was hit. Yeah. So those type of days that we had yesterday, if there's even a small chance for tornadoes, you just got to be extra safe. Try not to be out and about when you can. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but that was just really just a breathtaking situation.
Yeah, people are victims of the circumstances
exactly
at the end of the time, and you know, we all have to live somewhere. I've lived twice in mobile homes. I know how that is. They're very dangerous. They're great places to live until there's a situation like that, and you have to do everything you can to protect yourself, and that's why. If you can, you know, if you live in a mobile home, they always say try to get out. If you can't, then, you know, try to go into cover quickly. We always say, we used to, you know, say this in jest in a way, but a helmet, any kind of helmet that you can put on because it protects your head in these situations. But like Chris was saying, there was no warning. And that's the saddest part. Sometimes they can develop so quickly, and those, you know, those short-lived but very powerful tornadoes that we can get this time of the year.
And whenever you have a event that has tornadoes with the strong winds that we had, these storm cells, at one point there was a severe thunderstorm warning saying that the actual cell was moving at 80 miles per hour, that the actual forward motion was almost dragging like a dog on a leash waiting for the dog to catch up. So whenever you have those type of events, these things are moving fast. One we were tracking that was moving near your house, it was moving at about 65 miles per hour. So it's in and out really quickly.
So you have this actual speed of the tornado, and then the travel speed. That just like that, then you get the worst kind of damage.
Well, we had, you know, obviously I'd been here for most of the day, but when I got home with the kids, I kind of turned the news off, and our phone alarm went off for a tornado. So I got the kids in the middle of the house, and we turned you guys on. But by that point, it had already passed us. But it literally had gone right over us, and we didn't even know that we were right in the direct line of path until that siren went off your phone.
It didn't hit your house, but I mean,
but our area, I'm just saying, you almost get it like too late, you know.
Yeah, and that particular cell, and we're eventually about to see some tree damage. It really was a line from Lancaster County to Western Union that crossed through Ballantyne up past Providence Road, Providence neighborhood, past the Independence area, and that's why Larry was dealing with so much congestion. A bunch of trees down there. So
can we pop this up?
There's we have a trip.
not sure what we're waiting.
Yeah, so this is Sharon Road, and look at the size of that tree. And this is not saying that this is a tornado, but this is the type of wind damage that we're seeing all across the area and why there were so many power outages.
That right there, that's the first road I was on my way home yesterday.
You hit all of them.
That hadn't happened yet. But what happened on that side of the road right there, that was like a river of water. You could only go in the left lane to drive down Sharon Road to Sharon Amity.
Yep.
Here's the problem that I saw yesterday, widespread. We have so much construction going on. There's no drainage in the city of Charlotte.
True.
It's a major issue that we have to deal with because we're seeing more flooding than we've seen forever because of these fast-moving storms with a lot of rain at one time. So you have construction sites, no drainage, and issues like that, and it's going to get worse.
Well, as you guys have said, the ground was already saturated.
Totally saturated.
You know, and it's the wintertime.
And we know drainage just makes it even worse.
We know it's made worse in the wintertime because there's no leaves on the trees and like not things to absorb some of the waters out there.
When they move this quick, from you guys' perspective, how long does it take for them to confirm whether or not a tornado actually touched down or not?
The assessment is done the day after. It's not determined as it happens. It's the type of damage, the way the damage looks.
Okay.
It's not. We don't register. We don't measure the actual speed of the tornado because they're so fast. You can't do that. So it's the assessment, and it's an estimated speed of damage.
Yeah, it's called like degree of damage, DOD, and they really pick and see about what exactly can happen. For example, one of the worst tornadoes that happened in Oklahoma, I'm blanking on the name, but they deciphered that it was an EF5 because literally the blacktop, the pavement, was being ripped up from the ground from the winds.
Just the whole area was sucked out, gone completely.
Yeah, so there's certain things, there's certain representations that, hey, this level of winds can do this damage, and then they'll, of course, see if trees are down in different directions. The only reason why I'm saying this a little bit more with confidence is there's sometimes when you look on the radar, you can actually see the twist, you can see some of the damage that comes through it that we can't officially say it was, but almost 99.99%.
All right, well, folks, be safe out there. Glad a lot of this is past, even though we've got some rain coming Friday. Hopefully nothing like what we saw yesterday.
Thanks.
And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.